Steven! What kind of tacos did you have tonight?
Chicken.
Nice.
Leftover chicken.
Nice. Sounds tasty.
It's very tasty.
Did you really need to tweet out, though, that you were eating tacos and missed the Edmonton Oilers coming back in this game?
I did.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I was tweeting what was on my mind, Derek. You got a problem?
You tweet a lot. Tweet a lot.
Do I have to come with some declaration like you always make with your Twitters? Do I have to do that?
I don't think I make some declarations.
Everyone thought the Oilers were done. Everyone thought the game was over, but they're still in it, everybody. Just relax. It's fine.
That's me.
That's your Twitter.
Sorry, what was that? How do I phrase my tweets?
Everybody just relax. The Oilers were never out of it. Everyone overreacts too much. Everyone needs to calm down.
I mean, would you agree, though, sometimes? Like, we all just react a little bit too early in the moment?
I agree.
See? Then maybe it's not a bad tweet, then.
Maybe not. Maybe it is.
I did thought you were serious, though, the other night when you tweeted out that Willie Adames really needed that home run more than anybody in the history of baseball.
More than anyone in the history of baseball, Derek.
Yeah, and I came so close to tweeting you being like, I don't know. I think Jackie Robinson probably needed a home run every now and then.
Might have. Might have. Aaron Judge trying to chase 62. Roger Maris trying to chase 61 for that matter.
True.
There are some other people in baseball history who needed a home run more than a slumping Giant who was just 0 for 18 before that moment.
Yeah, but you were just joking because you're a jokey guy on
I'm
Twitter.
a jokey guy, Derek. I'm a jokester.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. We'll be talking about a lot of things tonight. Some NBA playoffs. Well, not really playoffs, finals. And some news. Go ahead.
Random, but when you texted me today,
yeah,
it feels like it's been a whirlwind. Just thinking about what's happened these past few days ever since we've been off since we did our last one on what was it, Sunday? It was Sunday.
It was Sunday. We decided to take off last night because everybody's going to watch the finals of the Giants game.
Yeah. It's been 4 days, and it feels like there's a shit ton that's happened. So it's we got a lot to talk about. We do. Yeah, we'll talk about some NBA, some news, some NFL stuff with mini camps, some movie news that was big today. Caught my eye. Caught your eye as well. But before we get to all that, I know you put this in the rundown, Stephen. Your quick reactions to the Giants blowing it today. My thing is they could have easily lost any of these games against the Rockies. They lost today. They came back on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Shit happens sometimes. I think it's me personally, the only time I could think that the bullpen let them down this season is against the Angels. Besides that, I mean, I think it's an anomaly, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. But your reaction as more of a Giants fan than I. Well, I mean, I like that the offense broke out of their funk, but I think there's been kind of a lingering problem and something that I think could show itself to the end of the season. What really could, I mean, at this point, is they don't really have a bona fide closer yet. I still think the jury's out on Camilo Doval. He obviously had those 2 moments. He didn't have the save in the second game, and he had the series opening one, but it got really dicey, to the point where he almost hopped out of the stadium. When Camilo Doval gets that game-winning strikeout and then does the little hop, kind of like the Sammy Sosa, Cody Ross type deal, kind of hops off the mound. You know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
Yeah, well, he has that. And they get more emphatic whenever the game gets closer. And it was a little hairy there in Colorado. And that first game, there was a big hop in that first game. Then the second game, there was no hop because he had to just throw the guy out at first base off of what was basically a swinging bunt. So, today I just think that it sucked, but I'm not going to overreact until, this weekend when they welcome Shohei Ohtani's Seth Rogen laugh, and the LA Dodgers, or at least they go to LA for the Dodgers.
Ohtani has a Seth Rogen laugh?
So glad you asked. This is actually what I was waiting for. I was trying to get you into this.
Okay.
It's a new thing. It's a new thing, Derek. Apparently Ohtani has a Seth Rogen sounding laugh. I never noticed it, but it's been making the rounds, and now I can't really unhear it. Do you remember this little thing with him and Dave Roberts?
Possibly, but go ahead.
There's like they got this little prank thing going where they're like buying each, like I don't really know what the first part of the prank was. It's like Ohtani bought Roberts a Porsche for his birthday, but it was just one of those toy cars. And for Ohtani's daughter, Dave Roberts bought her a literal toy Porsche. But Shohei Ohtani's Seth Rogen laugh, it appeared, and I can't really unhear it.
So this is a little bit of a joke, but it's a sincere joke for Shohei's daughter. So it's a nice little pink Porsche. Not bad, huh? Remote.
Nice.
But I had to get this for you, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll make sure that we get
I
it.
thought I'm in trouble. Some trouble.
It's not okay. Not so much Seth Rogen, but he definitely laughs like my guy Kyle Haar, who works with us. Kyle Haar laughs that same way, where it's like,
well, that's great. We all know who Kyle is, but Seth Rogen,
just telling you,
it feels like it's there.
So I'm in trouble. Some trouble.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, a little bit. And people, people know Kyle Haar if you watch Dubs OT, but no, I mean,
sorry, JD.
Yeah, it's it's kind of like that, but I wouldn't say 100% like Seth Rogen.
And sorry to Kyle. I apologize, Kyle. That was
Kyle Haar would get a good laugh from that. He probably laughed the same way like Shohei just did.
So he literally laughs like his last name.
Har, yes.
Like
exactly.
har. Okay, gotcha.
It was amazing. Whenever he's on the board for Giants, John Miller always shouts out the people that were on the board. So it's like, and thanks to our board operator for tonight's broadcast, Kyle. Is it Har? It is Har. Kyle Har.
That's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree with everything you said, Stephen. I don't think they have a bona fide closer, but I would say Duvall is probably the one that's accomplished the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't put a lot of. I mean, it's impressive their ability to come back in games, their ability to be clutch. It may be lucky sometimes, but I'll also say they were playing the lowly Rockies.
Yeah,
and baseball, it's not like football where if you lose to the worst team in the sport, you're like, what the fuck happened? That's going to happen sometimes. The Warriors going to lose to some crappy teams some nights. That's just, that's baseball. That's what happens when you play 162 games.
Yeah.
My thing is, we'll know how the Giants stack up against the Dodgers this weekend, but also a part of me is like, not really, because they don't have Matt Chapman, and the Dodgers pitching is decimated right now. So I guess we'll get a good gauge. Nothing really matters at this point. I mean, even if they win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, that means expectations happen, and that means that fans will say that they can compete with these teams. But as far as like if they are the number 1 in the division by the end of this weekend, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's September, October. That's when shit matters.
Well, I'd normally be in agreement with you, but we also saw how much of an impact a series against the Dodgers in June had in 2021 when they were competing with them at the top of the National League West. I'm not going to say the Giants are going to set a franchise record, but a series in June could do wonders just for the confidence of a team. I remember they felt like they were down and out, and then Mike Tauchman had a big series, and it felt like every game really against the Dodgers that year was just appointment television. So I'm normally with you, but you never know. You never know. I'm not saying that a series like this will change the season. I'm just saying that we've seen it happen before. So that's really where I'm getting at with that.
No, I hear you, but I also remember one weekend, and they weren't, what are they, 11 games above 500 right now?
Yep.
A couple of years ago, they beat the Dodgers in LA 15-0, and that meant nothing. Yeah. So we'll see. Sure. I mean, we'll definitely see what happens. And of course, you want to beat this team. It's a good gauge. And the Giants have handled themselves against, some of the better teams in the NL this year. They split the series against the Phillies. They won 2 out of 3 against Chicago. What else? I think they won the series against Milwaukee. They did. They split the series against the Padres, but lost 2 in San Diego. So I don't know. I mean, right now they should be a playoff team, but we'll see what happens with these injuries. Matt Chapman. I mean, Casey Schmidt's been solid at third base, but today he had a bad throw. I don't know. I want to freak out over what happened in this series. I think that you could go either way. They're playing a shitty team. They won 2 games that they were able to come back in, and they blew a game that they probably should have won today. So who the hell knows?
I was made sad, though, that the streak is done for the Rockies, or not the streak, but the wild number. And I don't think we can get back to this number again. Maybe we can if they end up losing like another 6 games with these next 2 series or whatever it is. But I'm personally counting them. But if you count I'm personally not counting them in the series. But if you count the postponements or discount the postponements that they've had, they've technically been swept 12 times prior to the series against the Giants. Like, if you look back at the Rockies in their entire season, they had technically been swept 12 times, which was the same.
No, they're terrible.
Which was the same amount of wins that they had. And had the Giants swept them, that would have made it 13 sweeps. And that would have obviously been a higher sweep total than win total at the 69 game mark. Nice.
Hey, no.
But I'm not counting the postponed games because they had quite a few that were postponed, but they still lost every game in the series outside of the postponements in those respective ones. So I'm still counting it, and I think it's hilarious.
All right. Okay. So tomorrow they'll start the series against the Dodgers. I think Logan Webb's on the mound against Yamamoto, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens against the Dodgers. And exactly. How are we doing in this? Was it still 3-3 in the third period?
It is, with just under 15 minutes to go.
Nice. We'll keep you abreast of everything that transpires in that game. As far as
what's up with you and abreast?
What's wrong with that? Is it not the appropriate word for that situation?
No one uses it.
A lot of people use it, Stephen.
No one uses it. No one uses that.
So what would you rather I say? We'll keep you updated?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we keep you abreast. Who says abreast?
It's a term people use.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted, updated, keep you abreast.
Okay, we'll keep you abreast. And of course, obviously, it's double entendre, and that makes me laugh.
Ha!
Okay. All right. NBA Finals last night. The Pacers win 116-107 against Oklahoma City Thunder. And the main butter and egg man of last night was Benedict Mathurin.
The main butter and egg man?
It's a reference to you ever heard of Scoops Callahan?
No.
So I highly recommend it. We've been playing it on the show. It was this guy from the Dallas radio station, The Big Ticket, and he would do his, like, it was a bit he would do where he was pretending to be like a 1950s newsman. So he would interview like Greg Popovich. He'd be like, "Hey, champ, over here. It seems that your fiery torpedo, Tony Parker, can he be your main butter and egg man for the rest of the season?" And then, Popovich's like, "Am I getting punked right now? What the hell is going on here?"
Butter and egg man, Benedict yes, you are correct, Derek.
Benedict Mathurin.
Yes.
Went off for 27 points. Mm-hmm. And it was probably the best game of the series. Both teams going back and forth. And yeah, the Pacers, they were down in the fourth quarter when we were able to come away with the victory. So I'm not saying the Pacers are going to win this series, but they're definitely, I think, playing better than people anticipated. And I think
they've proven people wrong, man.
Yeah.
They've easily proven people wrong. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Oh no. Oh shit. No. It went away.
It's okay.
I hate that so much.
I think it's better for the podcast audience that you didn't sneeze.
No, I think it's better for them if we did. It keeps us real, It makes us human.
Hey man, we do keep it real, but
no one
wants to, but no one wants to see a sneeze on a show, We get an up close and personal, sight to your snot.
What other podcast do you see someone sneezing?
Probably a lot.
None. You know why? Because they cut it out because they're too afraid to share it. Would have clipped it, posted it to Instagram right away, Derek. That's what we do on this podcast. Anyway, no, Pacers shocked everyone, dude. Like, I had the Thunder going 5.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and look at like the ESPN expert picks, a lot of people had the Thunder going 5. I still think there's a chance they could win it in 6, but I also didn't expect them to lose in a fashion where they were just completely outplayed down the stretch. I thought the Thunder would be a younger, hungrier team, but the Pacers were, and outside of the tactics and stuff, I've seen a lot about how the Pacers were able to kind of stifle this Thunder defense, but really looking at it from a guy who doesn't totally understand the ins and outs of the X's and O's, what I saw was a team that just found that extra gear as opposed to the Thunder. Like instead of rumbling, the Thunder were crumbling. Crumble, young man, crumble. That's what happened to the Thunder. Like,
yeah,
it was just extra rebounds, those extra plays. The TJ McConnell turnover was obviously huge. The Obi Toppin tip in, like there's just little things like that, and it just didn't seem like the Thunder really had an answer.
No, and I'm surprised with the lack of threes that they attempted in this game. And I know that Lou Dort was pretty good from 3-point range, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. And I've watched the Thunder, but not a ton. Only three 3-point attempts from SGA.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Jalen Williams. I mean, only 2. Chet Holmgren attempted 6 and was 0 for. I'm surprised by the lack of 3-pointers they made or even attempted. 10 of 22.
Totally.
And all on the flip side, though, the Pacers were just 9 of 27. I'm glad that a lot has not been made about the ratings for this series because I feel like ESPN would have just discussed how there's no superstars. But I'm glad that the main focus has been this series. As long as the series is competitive, I'm having fun. And I think that I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the series went 7. Just because the Pacers won last night doesn't mean anything to me. We've seen the Warriors be down 2-1 in series before. We've seen the Warriors be up 3-1 in finals before as well. And it doesn't matter. I think that OKC, even if they're down 3-1, I mean, with them having home court, wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they go back to Oklahoma, steal a game in Indiana, and we have a game 7. So I'm impressed with what the Pacers are doing, and I think they've been kind of ridden off for most of this postseason run, and somehow, some way, they find their way to climb back into games to, be down however many against the Bucks and win that game to close it out, to steal a game in Cleveland and go up 2-0 and ultimately win that series, to steal a game in New York and ultimately win that series as well. So I'm not saying they're not capable of winning the series. My money's still on the Thunder, but they've been very impressive. But yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. If it's tied up 2-2, I think things definitely go in the Thunder's direction.
To respond to your initial thing, I mean, there was I'm not saying it was the entire talk on ESPN, but there was still a little bit how Halliburton called out the media.
Yeah, I know.
And the media made it about themselves, which
trust me, we will get to that in Jackass of the Week.
Which happens. And then there's Adam Silver trying to tell us that no, the ratings are better than you guys think, even though the numbers were in game 2 rated worse than any NBA Finals game 2 since 2007, with exception to the bubble. So
damn.
Yeah.
Well, the bubble ratings, I mean, you could throw that out the window because that was in September against football.
So he's trying to make it sound like it's not all that bad, but the ratings are the ratings, dude. They aren't that great. But that was him trying to do a little bit of damage control.
Yeah.
But getting back to the game, though, I was just like TJ McConnell. You knew TJ McConnell's been this guy. What was my favorite tweet? I wish I could give the proper credit. He said that TJ McConnell is the LeBron James of Matthew Dellavedovas.
Of scrappy white guys?
Scrappy young white guys that just run around the court, creating turnovers, causing havoc. So we've known TJ McConnell to be that guy. He's always been that guy, even going back to his time, in Philadelphia. But I didn't realize Mathurin had that bag, man. Like, looking up a little bit from his past. I mean, we haven't heard of him that much because he's really only played 2 seasons. He's been in the league since 2022, but he was out for most of 2020, 2023, 2024, because he had like a shoulder injury, I think, that kept him out for the rest of the year. So he didn't play that much. And he's had spurts to the point where Bill Simmons even said going into this game, he's like, I expect Benedict Mathurin to kind of do that random thing where he just scores 27 points and gets 10 rebounds and just does that thing, 27 points on 22 shots or whatever. And he did. He got 27 points, 22 minutes on the court. Yeah, I was just surprised at how smooth his game was. Like, I didn't know he had that in his bag. And the the Thunder couldn't really do anything about it. It's just like he'd go around to his right side. He'd shoot a mid-range elbow jumper, or he'd maybe fool him into thinking he was going to take that same shot and then go in with the left hand. Yeah, very dynamic. I was really impressed with him. Kind of a breakout game.
Yeah, well, did Bill Simmons give his analysis yet on Game 3?
Not yet.
Okay, well, just wait for that podcast. He was like, man, just watching Ben Mather, and I can't do as good of an impression, but just watching Ben Mather, man, he was just totally crazy out there, man, like totally just losing his mind, like he had an orgasm on the court.
Something like that. Yeah.
He loves comparing things to orgasms.
Benedict Mathurin had a stiff neck on that court.
So yeah, we'll see what happens in Game 4 tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah, like I've been having fun with this series, and I've been having a lot of fun watching the Stanley Cup final as well. I know that Monday night it was a shitty game where the Panthers won 6-1, but tonight, for the most part, 3 out of the 4 games have been really exciting.
Yeah, I was actually about ready to come on here though and say, like, might have been wrong about how the Stanley Cup final is more exciting, because the Oilers did look dead in the water. I know oil and water don't mix. They looked dead in the water in the first period. Just coming out after that game that they had in Game 3, losing 6-1, where it was just nonstop brawls, and they were losing what felt like every brawl, kind of going out like punks, and then opening up the next period with a 3-0 deficit. Like, I thought the series was damn near over at that point. I'm like, oh my God, the Panthers just have them, but they came back in that second period, and there's been nothing scored, and it looks like the Oilers just got through a power play, and now there's 10 minutes to go. Both teams at full strength. So, woo-wee.
Yeah, we'll see if this game goes to overtime as it did in Game 1 and Game 2. And if it does, we will keep you posted or updated, but not abreast.
Not abreast. It's just a very, I don't hear that word anywhere.
It's a very classy way to say it.
Is it?
Well, you called me out last podcast for saying, like, yeah, it's gonna be loud as shit at OKC, and you're like, come on, Derek, think of something better than that. So I'm saying abreast.
I didn't say think of something better than that, but it sounded like you really wanted to say some
I know
vocabulary word that's deep in the dictionary. Instead, you're just like, man, it's gonna be loud as shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a luxury I have, where I could do that here, where if I was on Dirty Work, I'd just be like, yeah, it's going to be crazy loud. Like, sometimes I have the vocabulary, sometimes I don't. It is what it is.
I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of things that'll get crazy as shit, the NBA offseason. We're already hearing rumors about what could transpire with Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo, but let's start with the New York Knicks. They fired Tom Thibodeau about a week ago, I believe, and the search has started with them just poaching currently employed coaches. The list includes Quinn Snyder, who currently coaches the Hawks, Chris Finch, who currently coaches the T-Wolves, Ime Udoka, who currently coaches the Houston Rockets, and Jason Kidd, who currently coaches the Dallas Mavericks. They inquired about all these guys and were denied on all 4 men. And I just think it's dumb as hell. Like, you are the New York Knicks. I get it. You can flex nuts. You can be, you can think you're that big. And in some aspects you are. But to go around and just be like, hey, you want to like leave the team you currently have a contract with to come coach for us? That's just arrogant as fuck and also stupid. And I don't blame all of these teams for saying no. This only happens rarely, like the San Diego Padres just willing to let Bob Melvin interview with the Giants. I never got that. I thought that was dumb. And even though I know AJ Preller and him did not get along, just to let him go for nothing, that's so dumb to me. But regardless, no, I think it's stupid of the Knicks to just say, well yeah, we know you're married, but you want to cheat on us and leave your wife and come marry us? That's not going to happen sometimes. And I think Jason Kidd probably would be intrigued given the situation with Luka, but also they're drafting first overall to get Cooper Flagg. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of good coaches available right now, guys that have been fired during the regular season. You got Taylor Jenkins, you got Michael Malone. Go interview them. I think you should also have a plan. When you have a coach that takes you to the Eastern Conference Finals, one series away from the NBA Finals, probably have a backup plan when you fire them.
I don't think it's that bad.
What? Why?
Why not give them a call? It's not arrogant just to think they're going to get those guys. Like, I agree that they need a backup plan, but I just saw that and thought, yeah, like, I'm sorry, you're doing the whole like relationship thing. I don't like equating sports to relationships. Relationships are real life. Sports are not. All right. Relationship, like there's contracts involved. Unless are you paying your wife? Are you paying your wife so you can go after get another wife who's also getting paid by her husband? Like, no. But
well, sometimes. I mean, sometimes you are.
I didn't see much of a problem with what the Knicks are doing. Is it embarrassing? Yeah. But Jason Kidd said he had mutual interest and he could be using this as a leverage play. I think he wants to get out of Dallas. Like, I really think he does want to get out of there. I think the Knicks took that opportunity. Is it embarrassing? Yes, but I don't really see a problem with calling other teams and seeing if their coach would be available for an interview. Like, why not?
Because what are you expecting? Like some guy to like one team is willing to let you do that?
One team may be willing to part ways with their coach and saying, you know what, we'll be willing to take a couple of second-round picks like the the Nets did for when Jason Kidd went to the Bucks and went to join Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Nets traded 2 second-round picks or received 2 second-round picks to get him. Like, I don't know. Why not take a chance? Like, coaching trades aren't all that uncommon.
No, they're not. I mean, Doc Rivers got traded from the Boston Celtics to the Clippers.
I just don't think there's that much of a. It's just like trying to trade for a player. You know, I mean, I'm like, if John Lynch were on the side of the phone, he'd be going to a press conference and saying, "Yeah, you know, we take calls all the time. We got the phone just off the hook ringing." Other people, it happens every year. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if this doesn't happen more often. It just doesn't get reported.
Yeah, but I also think
it was all Shams who started the firestorm. Let's face it. Shams was just going after the Knicks for this one. He swift action, just like these other teams did in rejecting.
Why shouldn't he? When you have those reports, that's interesting enough to report that out there.
Yeah. I just wondered how much this has happened before, and the Knicks are just kind of getting the brunt of it, and it's easy to make fun of them. So and they shouldn't look. I don't know if they should have fired Tom Thibodeau in the first place. Maybe that was a bit of a snap decision, and maybe this does show a lack of planning, but I don't see too much of a problem with them just making one tiny phone call. If they get rejected, okay.
Yeah, but it's just 4 guys that I think that, I mean, I don't know, like you would have to figure that they may have a interest to go coach the Knicks right now. And also the Jason Kidd stuff, I'm not buying that entirely because I think you and I both would agree that he wasn't totally innocent in Luka Doncic being traded away.
Didn't seem like it, but maybe he was.
Yeah,
maybe he was.
I think honestly, I know they just went to the Eastern Conference Finals, but to have Anthony Davis, a guy that he coached with the Lakers, and to get the #1 pick in the draft to draft Cooper Flagg, who's going to be, as many say, a generational talent, I'd rather have that job, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you got Kyrie and you got Clay. Kyrie, whatever they get him back. And
we have no idea when Kyrie's coming back.
And then Klay Thompson and obviously Cooper Flagg too. But who knows? Maybe he doesn't want to work for a guy like Nico Harrison. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And when's it ever really worked out with Jason Kidd in each stop that he's been to? Not great so far. I guess he made it to the finals. So
yeah, but I mean, we also know that James Dolan's not the easiest owner to work for either.
There's also that. So
it just seems kind of ridiculous. We're like, okay, let's say in the NFL, and I know it's different, but like let's say like some team like a really like a powerhouse, like let's say like the New England Patriots didn't get Mike Vrabel, and they acquired on Nick Sirianni and Kyle Shanahan and just all like Sean McVay, like all these big name coaches that take their teams to the playoffs every single season. You would be like, what the hell are they doing? Why don't you go interview somebody else? Somebody win?
Not yet, but
Edmonton took the lead.
The Oilers just scored with 6
baby.
remaining, and the guy scoring the goal, former Shark Jake Wallman, who they traded to the Oilers for a conditional 2026 first-round pick. That trade is really panning off for the Oilers there. It's actually kind of funny because, like with the Dallas Stars, there's a couple of trades that they made, the Sharks and Stars, that is, and Mikhail Granlund and Cody Ceci played pretty big roles in their playoffs, and now Jake Wallman is scoring in the Stanley Cup final. Wild stuff, man.
It's very Gruden of you at the end there. I tell you, man, wild stuff here.
They need to send me a box. I need a box of stuff.
See, dude, the box stuff is entertaining. You can't deny it. The box stuff is entertaining.
I haven't watched much of it, but I won't deny that it's entertaining. I'm not going to spend 9 minutes watching a guy open a bunch of gifts.
Is it 9 minutes worth?
Some of them are, yeah.
I don't watch the whole thing. That's too long for opening a box.
There you go. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. But I mean, no, like the Knicks can do whatever they want. I just think, like, I don't know, like I think you're wasting your time. All 4 of these coaches made the playoffs, right? The Hawks did as a play-in team. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous. And there's, you can, I guess Mike Brown's going to be interviewed for the Knicks job. I doubt he gets it. I still think Michael Malone's going to get the job. That's what I would anticipate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got to be the leading candidate, right?
You'd think, but I'm surprised they haven't inquired about that yet, or as far as we know with Shams reporting stuff. By the way, I know you tweeted this from our account. Is there a thing going on where Shams reports one thing and Windhorst is like, no, that's not the case?
They tag teamed these things. Yeah. Yeah. It felt like it. You had Shams first on the Giannis stuff, and then you had Brian Windhorst follow it up, say there's nothing going on with Giannis. And then you had him add that Jason Kidd and the Knicks have mutual interest. And then you have Shams following up saying, yeah, the Knicks requested to interview him, and the Mavericks immediately hung up the phone. Like, yeah, they're tag teaming on this stuff. I don't like it. We need insider beef. We need these guys to be beefing. We don't need collaboration here.
Well, yeah. Well, Windhorst, I guess, I don't know if it was well known, but you brought this up. Windhorst did not like Woj.
No, did he not?
I think didn't you tell me that?
There's no one that liked Woj
I know.
At ESPN. Obviously, it's very unfortunate what's going on with him right now.
Right.
But it was mostly Ethan Sherwood Strauss who, when he got off the Warriors beat and just kind of started covering things, it was him and like Amin Al Hassan who were just going off on Woj, saying that he had like a monopoly over the NBA insider business. And then Shams was up and coming. Yeah, I mean, but Windhorst and Shams both work for the same network. Right. So I kind of get that, where Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero and Mike Garafolo, they're like the 3 amigos when it comes to breaking news for the NFL, the insiders. Yeah, and they all hate Schefter. That's just you have to work for a different network to let the beef be really known. Right. Damn, I missed that.
Just like Woj and Shams, I guess at first it was a mentorship with Woj to Shams, but now, I mean, I'm sure they don't hate each other now, but there was a rivalry. They were trying to break news first.
Oh, dude, I had one of my favorite segments that I've ever done where I created like a radio wrestling match between Shams and Woj with free agency news, and I literally tracked every single piece of news that they reported. And I think it was Shams who came out on top that year, who ended up pitting Woj in 3, getting them down. It was a Hell in a Cell. It was a bloodthirsty match, but Shams is the one who won.
Now, see, if I did that with Rappaport and Schefter, you'd be like, oh, Derek, why do you care? Oh, it's so nerdy.
Oh, dude, I'm all in on that.
Okay, all right.
Dude, anytime we talked about that stuff, I've been all in. I'm all in on the insider beef. Not so much.
That's true.
Not so much when they're reporting that Aaron Rodgers is close to a deal, but nothing is imminent.
Well, yeah, that is annoying. Don't get me wrong. That is annoying. But okay, maybe next year for the fuckery, we keep track of who has the scoop first. Is it Rappaport or Schefter? Maybe we do that next year.
We'll write them down. We'll track them. We'll time it out. We'll write it down in a notebook, and then we'll really pin them against each other and just
we would be the only people doing that. That's like. We do a lot of nerdy shit, but that's like other degree. But we gotta
find our niche. We got to find our niche. It's niche. Got to find our niche, and I think that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tracking what other people's work.
Yeah. Well, even Giannis tweeted out, I guess yesterday, where he misses Woj more than Shams. He didn't say that, but He was like, "Does anybody else miss Woj as much as me?"
Yeah.
So Giannis, there was nothing really concrete, in my opinion, wherein Shams had the report that Giannis may be mulling his options this offseason. It wasn't a definite he wants to be traded. So now we're hearing reports, I guess, from Windhorse or whoever at this point, that Giannis is, or even Giannis himself, I guess. I think Giannis actually tweeted out something along the lines of, "I look forward to going to the NBA Finals with the Bucks." And I never thought that Giannis was going to be the bad guy this offseason and demand a trade. So
called it.
And I thought it was going to take a lot for him to be moved, and I don't think the Bucks were going to budge. So I think as of right now, you never know, things could change. But I think from everything that we've seen, Giannis put on social media and everything reported, sounds like Giannis is staying, which I kind of anticipated.
Yeah. No, you were right. KD on the move, though.
KD is definitely on the move. Yeah. So KD and God, I love this guy. We learned this guy's name a long time ago. Rich Kleiman. They're exploring trade offers from the Houston Rockets, Spurs, T-Wolves, Heat, and Knicks. And what's this guy's name? A Guzman or somebody that's in local Arizona radio who's tied to the Suns believes that a trade could happen next week. I would say that's probably too early, probably after the finals and probably right before the draft. But you never know. I mean,
Derek, hate to break it to you, man, but next week is going to be at the end of the finals and right before the draft. The draft is June 25th. It's right around the corner, man.
No, I know. But next week would be like June 19th. And I think the finals, if we have a game 7, won't end until the 22nd.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's still that's really close.
I know. But semantics aside, this is going to happen. It's probably going to happen during the draft or before the draft. Didn't Mikal Bridges got traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Knicks while the draft was happening or the day before the draft? Yeah. So we'll see deals happen, but people that were entertaining the Giannis to the Warriors conversation, I never thought that was feasible. KD's not going to the Warriors. Doesn't sound like it. But he's probably going to go to one of these teams. And it sounds like he wants to go to the Spurs the most, which would be very interesting. I would not be the least bit surprised, though, if he ends up on the T-Wolves. I can't see him on the Heat. I can't see him on the Knicks now. And if he was on the Rockets, I think he would just get frustrated the whole time where he's the only guy scoring. And they'd have to move a lot of good players, good defensive players in order to get him. With the T-Wolves, you can move Julius Randle and another guy. And as long as it's Anthony Edwards and KD, you're probably fine. So, and with the Spurs, as long as you have Victor Wembanyama and KD, that's all you need. If you have to move Stephon Castle where he goes to Phoenix, then you make that move. So right now, I would say probably if the two teams I have to pinpoint the most, I would say San Antonio and Minnesota.
I would think it's San Antonio because they got a lot of young pieces they could move. But I also
wonder second overall pick
what the Suns would be asking for. I'd be more intrigued with him going to San Antonio because just watching him and Victor Wembanyama, I think that would be really cool. But I don't know if he catapults a team into finals contention like he used to. I just don't know. And the thing with the Spurs where I'd be hesitant is he's very young. I'm not saying that he's not going to have to go on to have a fruitful career, but if he's coming back from Wembanyama, that is, if he's coming back from, was it deep veins? Yeah, the deep vein thrombosis or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to come back from that instantly in a year. Obviously, KD would probably want an extension, so he'd be there for the long haul. So I guess the Spurs would be it. He just wouldn't win right away, I don't think. And there's a risk that you run with playing with Wembanyama. But then you can play with Stephon Castle, and you'd add another scorer there, and that starting five would be very formidable. But I don't know.
I don't know if Stephon Castle could stay if they acquire KD. I think he'd have to be moved.
Oy.
And I don't know is KD worth the second overall pick at this point? Probably, yeah. I mean, that's actually a stupid.
Depends who's second overall.
Yeah, but KD's going to go for a first-round pick, multiple first-round picks probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would. San Antonio makes a lot of sense, and he would go back to close enough to Austin. I'm sure he was there the night that the Spurs played in Austin when they had that game, so I'm sure he loves that vibe. And to play with Victor Wembanyama. But I don't know. I think with how close the T-Wolves are, that would probably be a better situation, and maybe he could go to the finals with that team. But I'm with you, Steven. Kevin Durant's a very good player, and I think in some aspects more talented than LeBron James, just his ability to score. Honestly, like when he had his Warriors run, or even prior to that with the Thunder, I thought that he was comparable to LeBron James. And I remember some shows, like the Rachel Nichols shows at the time, they were laughing at that notion, be like, are you kidding me? Comparing Kevin Durant to LeBron James? That's stupid. The man is incredibly talented. But I'm with you. If he wasn't able to take those Brooklyn Nets teams to the finals, or the currently with this Phoenix Suns, then I think it's going to be really difficult for him with the Spurs to just turn that team around very quickly. Minnesota, yes, but I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Anthony Edwards has to be the guy. He has to be the number one, and KD kind of feeds off of him, kind of like the way it was with Steph. And sometimes he would be the number one guy, but most of the time, I would say most of the time, it just some nights you trade off.
God, that'd be so sick, though. For Anthony Edwards especially. Like, you call Kevin Durant like his hero. That'd be so cool. See those two on the same team. Are we going to pivot?
Well, we can go to another thing real quick with NBA.
Well, I was not like trying to force it, because I just wanted to get one more thing about Kevin Durant. And
yeah.
Did you see the thing with Draymond on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes, where he thought that Joe Lacob was telling him,
"Hang on, don't bury the lead."
Sometimes I don't know if you're going to play the clip or not.
You're keeping people way too abreast, Derek. Way too abreast.
Thank you. You're catching on. You're catching on to the boobs.
The entire interview was great.
Yeah.
God, Draymond's so good, man. He really is. Like, I know we say a lot of things.
Charismatic, yeah.
But like, he was really, really good as far as like an athlete on these late night shows. Yeah, and him telling this story about how they like almost landed Kevin Durant, pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. When it first happened, we were at the Warriors charity poker tournament.
Oh, and he's talking about Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And I had just saw Joe Lacob 10 minutes before this happened. And I saw Joe, and Joe gets excited, and that's my guy. Like, we've been together 13 years, championships. Joe Lacob's owner of the Warriors, majority owner. And Joe goes, Draymond, I think we're going to get Kevin Durant. Like, it's right there at the finish line. It's happening. We're getting Kevin Durant back. I'm like, oh, man, like, here we go. Let's go. And we talk about it. He's like, you think it'll work? I'm like, absolutely. He leaves. He comes running back to me like 2 minutes later. Draymond, I wasn't supposed to say anything. Don't say nothing to nobody. I'm like, Joe, I got you. I won't say anything to anyone. So we're at this tournament, and I go sit down, and about 15 minutes later, Steph yells, Draymond, you see the trade? I go, it happened? Steph goes, wait, who? I said, oh, never mind, nobody. What happened? He's like, Luka got traded. I couldn't, and we're at this, like, it's video out, like, because we were at the charity poker
of you guys reacting.
Of us reacting. I couldn't believe it.
All right. That was great. But in the middle of that,
yes,
the Panthers just scored with 20 seconds left.
I know. We might be going to overtime again, baby.
Please tell me, Evan, number 9, Evan Rodriguez, did he get an assist?
Yes.
Oh, did he get it?
Yeah, I think so. Why? Is that a bet you made? How much money?
A couple hundred.
There you go.
Come on.
Those prize picks reads are coming in handy now.
Dude, come on, dude. I need this. Please. Come on.
Papa's got to pay for that Alameda rent.
Listen, man, I need this. I don't think it counted.
Why?
No! All right, but I need them to, I need a point in overtime. God damn it. It didn't count.
Why? That's an assist.
No, it came from Kachuk and Sam Bennett. It just showed up on the damn screen.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's a tease.
So I got a little show it. I guess I'll show it. I got a little parlay going.
Yeah.
4 of them hit, and I need the 5th. I had Sergei Bobrovsky get 1 over his 27.5 goalie save. I had Leon Draisaitl get over his shots on goal, and the same thing with Evan Bouchard. I need Evan Rodriguez. Oh, it's not number 9 I needed. I think it was number 13. I need Evan Rodriguez to do something, or 17, and he's on the bench. Oh, there we go. Jesus.
So way off.
That's embarrassing.
Well, hopefully it happens for you in overtime. But yes, you're going to overtime once again, the third time out of 4 games. So we will keep you posted.
And Draymond Green's a great storyteller. That's all.
Yes. And yeah, and it doesn't sound like they're going to revisit this trade. They probably have to give up Jimmy Butler in the process, or Draymond Green to acquire Kevin Durant, which is funny that Draymond reacted that way. I wonder what the trade was going to be, a mix of Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga, I believe, for Kevin Durant.
Correct.
So Draymond was going to be a part of it, even though I think Sam Amick initially reported that. But yeah, it doesn't sound like KD's coming back to the Warriors, so the Warriors will go forward with their 3 big guys over 35 years old. And it sounds like, according to Monty Poole, that Jonathan Kuminga most likely will be coming back. And I'm not opposed to this. We'll talk more about this as we get closer to free agency, and we'll know what ultimately happens. But I'm not opposed to this. I know that I talk a lot of crap about Kuminga because I really am more irritated about the fans' love for him more than the person he is or the player he is. I think he's very talented. He just needs to really embrace the role that he has. And Steve Kerr's on record saying, I don't see him as a 38-minute type of player each night. So as long as he's cool with that, then I'm down for him being a 6-man off the bench or potentially starting sometimes. But he needs to play the style of basketball the Warriors play. He can't go rogue. He can't be Jair Alexander and going out for the coin toss and changing the whole thing of that. We'll get to Jair Alexander later. But just Jonathan Kuminga needs to be a Warrior, needs to be helping Steph Curry, needs to be helping Draymond Green, needs to be helping Jimmy Butler. So if it does ultimately result in him returning, I want it to be where he's not focused on just getting the bag. I mean, sometimes that motivates you and you have a great season, but you need to embrace the role as well. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not opposed to Jonathan Kuminga returning. Not at all.
But Poole also made it pretty clear on with Bonte on Dubs Talk, like,
yeah,
even if they do keep him, that doesn't mean that he's going to be here long term. It doesn't mean they think he's the answer to sticking around. It probably means they just want to keep him around, and who knows, potentially use him as like a trade chip in the future. Maybe give him a contract that would be very tradable at the deadline if he accepts that. That's what I'm wondering. Like, if he already rejected whatever contract extension they offered him before the season, or the Warriors rejected to give him an offer, then what are they going to offer? And is he going to feel disrespected by that offer? I believe, can teams start negotiating with their own players now, or do they have to wait till the end of the season?
I think it's the end of the season.
It is the end of the season. Yeah, because then there's like another window that opens, I think, for teams to negotiate with actual free agents.
I want to say it's June 30th. And then free agency starts a couple days after that.
Right. So I'm curious as to what those negotiations look like. But
they don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't technically have to do anything. That's right.
I mean, if no one's going to give him an offer sheet, and that Anthony Slater had that report too, where the Brooklyn Nets are more inclined to do a sign and trade than an offer sheet. If no one does anything, the Warriors would be like, you don't have as much luxury or much leverage as you think you do, Kuminga. No one offered to, give you a contract. You're a restricted free agent. You're coming back. Bottom line.
Cold world, man. Cold world.
I wouldn't say it's a cold world where he didn't really play a lot in order for him to garner a contract.
Yeah, but I agree with you. It's more, if you keep away from the discussion around Kuminga, that it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really think much of it. But then when you start seeing Steve Kerr needs to get fired, the Warriors don't know how to develop young talent, even though the talent they have there with Steph Curry is one they helped develop into like an MVP and an NBA champion. It's just when you start seeing that stuff and you start seeing people question everything around the Warriors and talk shit about a team that's given them 4 NBA championships over the past decade, it's just too much. It's really too much. And I get where you're coming from with that. So it's never anything that Kuminga did, but it's just when you get told you're stupid if you think this guy shouldn't play. And then when he does, there's times where it's like, yeah, he shouldn't. He's not a great team player. It doesn't seem like he is. So I don't know, man. And you know what? I agree with Otis Bird. It's, you can't put his situation into like a little 5-minute topic on a podcast. Like it really is one that you could dive deep into, but I think there's a common denominator that we shred or we share. A common thread that we share is that, yeah, the discussion around him is the annoying thing. It's not
nauseating.
So much nauseating. Not so much Kuminga himself.
No, it's not. But also he kind of feels it a little bit with telling Shams, or maybe his agent telling Shams, he's going to be benched tonight. That needs to be a big deal. Like, whatever. And also I don't like the way he's handled some things with Steve Kerr, but I don't entirely blame him. He's actually behaved really well this season for, not playing the DMPs as far as publicly. I don't know about behind the scenes, but publicly, nothing demonstrative in any way. But I think we all could say that Ben Mathurin right now is definitely better than Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. I just sent you that as a joke.
Yeah.
Is that better than Kuminga? That's how we should evaluate players. Just say whether they're better or worse than Kuminga.
That's probably a good gauge.
That's like the benchmark,
and not biased whatsoever.
If you're better than Kuminga, then you are probably a pretty good player. If you're worse than Kuminga, then you probably
awful.
And another thing that Otis is mentioning here, the Warriors would look awful for trading a talent like him, but he doesn't fit the Warriors right now. And since they're in win now mode, and I want to take the first part of that sentence. The Warriors would look awful for trading a talent like him. See, that's another piece of discussion that bothers me. It's that the Warriors, people think they look awful for trading Jordan Poole, and they shouldn't have done it in the first place. I'm like, what has Jordan Poole done with the Wizards to make you think the Warriors made a mistake by trading him away? The Wizards want to shop him. They've been trying to trade him since the last deadline, and they want to trade him again this offseason. Probably not going to work out because no one wants that contract. Like that's another piece of the discussion. Like when you bring that in, it's like they want to trade Jonathan Kuminga. They already traded Jordan Poole. I'm done with this franchise. I'm like, what did you see from Jordan Poole? He was great in the finals. He was awesome. But the season after, there was clearly something off with the team. And we're looking at Draymond's punch as the reason why. But I think there's also kind of a reason why Draymond reacted in the way that he did. Did it deserve a knockout blow that looked like Captain Falcon? No. But like like there was clearly frustration brewing with him.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you.
Poole overflowed.
No, I 100% agree with you, but I also think it's not the best to be trading away young talent all the time. Not all the time, but they've done it quite frequently with Jordan Poole and maybe Kuminga. Who knows? They have their reasons. I'm not opposed to trading away Jordan Poole to get, I mean, in the end, you're getting Chris Paul, which I'm like, okay. But yeah, we've dived into the Jordan Poole stuff enough. And if they need to trade Kuminga, they'll trade Kuminga, and I'm okay with that. But I also am not opposed to him sticking around. So I think it's twofold. I think it's that the Warriors, when they know better than us, so they need to trade away a player, then I trust Bob Myers, I trust Mike Dunleavy, I trust Steph Curry, I trust Steve Kerr. That's just not working. On the other hand, you're letting a lot of young talent walk out the door. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move over to the NFL with some mandatory minicamp storylines. And I know I'm the football guy, but I'll say this. All this stuff about TJ Watt holding out and Terry McLaurin and who else? Trey Hendrickson. And Jalen Ramsey staying away because the trade's going to happen eventually. None of that is huge. Like, we're talking about mandatory minicamps, everybody. It's a big deal once they go to training camp. That's when the holdouts become a thing. I know that, believe me, I love every bit of NFL news, but the way we're treating guys showing up to minicamp like it's a big fucking deal. Like we did this a year ago with Aaron Rodgers, who was not excused to go to Egypt, and that was a whole thing. It's just mandatory minicamp. And maybe you can make the argument that maybe minicamp and training camp should be pushed together. Regardless, I don't think this should be headline news, and we're breaking down what's going to happen. Is he going to get the contract? Are they going to trade him? TJ Watt, Terry McLaurin, Trey Hendrickson, all those things will be figured out during training camp. And if they don't show up, that's when they should be talked about. Right now, during minicamp, when a lot of guys are not even practicing, that's when you discuss that stuff. But as far as Shemar Stewart, this guy, I don't even know if I can really blame him for what's going on with him.
How can you?
Well, I mean, you could say, like, dude, you're a rookie. Just practice. What the hell are you doing? And you can also say, no, it's a good business move. He's looking out for himself. I lean in the direction of I would be the same way. Like if I just got a new job and the two people before me were given something that I wasn't given, I'd be like, well, what the hell? And that's what happened with Shemar Stewart. So his whole thing is, and he was a guy that was linked to the Niners. So the Niners avoid this mess, but also I don't know if it's a mess in the first place because I don't even know if the Niners would do this to their first round draft pick. But what's going on right now is Shemar Stewart being the first overall pick, or not the first overall pick, the first round pick for the Bengals, I think 17th overall. There's something with a rookie contract that the Bengals are giving out where he's not guaranteed money down the line. And back in the day, I mean, you remember this, Steven, when Jamarcus Russell was holding out because he wanted big time money. I mean, the last rookie quarterback to get paid like $22 million a year, I believe, was Sam Bradford. Since that point, we've had a rookie cap where a quarterback or anybody drafted in the first round can only make a certain amount of money. And I'm glad they've done that because it led to stupid situations like Michael Crabtree holding out and Jamarcus Russell holding out, which should never happen in the first place. I think Jamarcus Russell, if I'm not mistaken, was making more money than Tom Brady his rookie year, which was absolutely insane. So I'm glad they rectified that. But the Bengals are choosing to not give Shemar Stewart something that they gave to their previous first-round draft picks. And this led to him having a very candid conversation with reporters in the locker room. He has not practiced a down. He's not hit the practice field whatsoever. He left today. He's not participating in minicamp whatsoever, not going to the meetings, not doing anything. And he's, it's his situation, and I can't fault him for what's going on right now, but also he's kind of talking too open for my liking, where he's talking about Trey Hendrickson's situation, and that's Trey's situation to talk about. He shouldn't comment on that, where he's kind of relating himself to Trey, and it's not the same whatsoever. And also he's calling out the Bengals, saying it seems like this team would rather win arguments than win football games, which, he's not wrong, but damn, you're a rookie, man. Like you're talking that much shit about the team that just drafted you. And I get it. They're screwing you right now. But I don't know. Like this seems like this might get ugly like Hassan Reddick a year ago, where I don't think like the Bengals, I'm not going to say they're not going to win a Super Bowl because I don't like going down the road of, well, their organization's shitty, so they're never going to win. As long as they have good players, as long as they have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I think they're definitely in contention. But the way they run their organization, the way Mike Brown does things, like they don't have any scouts. Their assistant coaches are scouts. Their GM has been the de facto GM, Duke Tobin, since 1999 because he's the head director of player personnel. He doesn't even have the title of general manager. This is all the shit that Carson Palmer was complaining about and why he wanted to get out of there and go to the Raiders. And then he regretted that decision as well. But yeah, I think this whole thing's a mess with the Bengals right now. And I don't think they even should worry about Shemar Stewart at this point. I think they should worry about Trey Hendrickson, who is a proven commodity in this league.
Yeah, well, they voided future guarantees. Like that's what they took out of the contract, which is a big deal. I don't blame him for leaving minicamp, but I don't understand why he had to blast the organization because there are three possibilities here. Number one, he could still sign with the Bengals, though I don't know if there's a higher chance of that happening after that little post-game or that little training camp media scrum. He could demand a trade, but I don't know what other team would be willing to trade for him if they don't do what's right by him and he ends up going to the media and bad-mouthing the organization. Or he can just forego this season and enter the 2026 draft cycle, which is seeming like it's on the table now after that little press. Like as mature as I figured he was, like, and it was respect for speaking your mind, but I don't know if that was the right business move to make if you want to play this year. Like, it feels like the only thing he'll do is potentially just not play this year and then, start training and work out for the 2026 draft, because it feels like that's his only option after that.
Yeah, I mean, to answer Rockanuera's question, yes, they can't trade him. They own his rights right now. So, yeah, no, I mean, that's on the table. but I think that'd be a bad move. And I don't know why
plenty of rookies aren't signed too.
Yeah.
Did you see like the numbers? Mike Florio just had him earlier. He posted this article during your show today at 5:30. 40 rookies are unsigned, but 30 of them are second round picks because the first 2 picks of that round ended up signing fully guaranteed contracts. So the rest of the guys in the second round all want guaranteed contracts. So like the 49ers, they haven't signed Alfred Collins to a deal. The Raiders haven't signed Jack Besh to a deal. Like they're still waiting to get those contracts done, but you don't see those rookies making a stink of it and say the organization's cheap because they're not doing what the other organizations are to do. They're playing the long game here. And I don't know if Shemar Stewart did that. Like respect to him for speaking up. And I know the Bengals are being really stubborn here, but if you want to go to like another team, or if you do want to get signed to that rookie contract, life-changing money, I don't know if that press conference is the way to do that.
I would agree. I think that he's right to feel this way, but he's wrong to voice his displeasure as much as he is.
Yeah.
Because it is a bad look. It also shows how cheap the Bengals are. But also, Travis Hunter has not signed his contract, and he's playing a two-way position, and I don't know how that contract is going to be dictated based on him playing wide receiver and cornerback. But he's still practicing with a smile on his face. Shemar Stewart probably should be practicing and just letting his agent figure this out. But then again, I'm not going to be the guy to tell a player how to go about his business. But also, yes, I acknowledge that he's going about this the wrong way as far as what he's saying. You don't have to practice. You can hold out. In this day and age with rookies, though, it's not well received. So be prepared to take the backlash and be prepared now for the organization to look at you being like, you haven't proved shit, buddy. We just drafted your ass. There's a lot of question marks about you, but we took you, and now you're going to call us out. And yeah, we'll see if you get your money. So now, did Mike Florio happen to say how many teams are doing the same thing the Bengals are doing to Shemar Stewart with his contract?
No, I don't think any teams are doing that.
Well, that's the issue.
It seems to be just the Bengals, and it's very unusual language for a first-round rookie contract to void future guarantees if by default. It's a very weird stuff.
And I know, Rock, and Derek just said it and then said, I'm not going to tell a player what to do. Yeah, I know, I did. I know. I'm contradicting myself. I mean, at the end of the day, he could do what it's his life. It's his career. It's how he's going to do it. I would just go about it a different way. That's how I would do it personally.
I really think it's just I think he's going to just take this season off and go back in 2026 and
that's crazy
again, which is
that's
nuts.
Crazy.
You probably can take it in the 3rd or 4th round. I don't know.
Yeah, then he would fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I get it, man. You're getting screwed over, but you're talking too much at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had some NFL news as far as player movement. There was reports that the Packers and Jair Alexander were going to figure everything out. There was a weird deal this past season where Jair was hurt, but how hurt was he? Like, this all stems from 2 years ago, and you and I talked about this a lot because I thought it was hilarious, but also a wrong move to do as well. Jair Alexander went rogue during a game against the Panthers. He's from Charlotte, and the game went to overtime, and he put it upon himself to go on the field and call the coin toss of overtime. Even though Jair Alexander is not a team captain, he just went out there and did it. And Matt LaFleur was like, what the hell are you doing? You can't do that. And this guy is hilarious in press conferences where he's just like, man, come on. Like the way he talks and the way he's just like nonchalant about shit, he's goofy too. But like he was like, hell, they keep me off the field. I'm from Charlotte. I deserve to be there. I didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, yeah, you did. You kind of went rogue. You're not allowed to do that. So they suspended him for the last game of the regular season. And it was weird this season where like he even kind of voiced to the team, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be back here. Or he said like during press conferences to the media, he came back. He rarely played this season. And there was talk about them trading him or even possibly releasing him. But in the recent weeks, it was that they're going to find a way to restructure his contract. And in the end, he did not want to take a pay cut. So Jair Alexander is just flat out released right now. And he's one of the best cornerbacks in football when healthy. So you have that option with a younger player. I think he's maybe 2 years younger than Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey's waiting around to get traded right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do what I did 2 years ago. I'm not going to give you an update every day about, him like he's DeAndre Hopkins or Dalvin Cook. I've learned now that most likely all this stuff will get rectified close to training camp. But a player of his magnitude, I guess, I don't even know like if it's the proper terminology for him, but a player of his caliber, I guess I should say, to be a free agent at this time of year is kind of interesting. And then yesterday, Germaine Pratt, who's a solid linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals, he was cut. These are all like June 1st June 1st designations. And the Raiders picked him up, signed him for a 1-year deal. I had the numbers here. 1 year's $4.2 million. I think that's a solid deal because the Raiders really didn't have a lot linebacker-wise. They had their rush ends of Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, and Malcolm Kuntz. But inside, they were rolling with Landon Roberts and Tommy Eichenberg and Devin White, who I don't even know if he's going to make the team right now. So to have Germaine Pratt as the veteran middle linebacker right now, next to Landon Roberts, solid move, I would say.
I think Devin White's going to make the team.
Okay.
The latest that's coming out with him is that he's flying around like he used to when he was in Tampa Bay. And I don't know, with how much of a connection John Spytek has to Devin White, I'd be shocked if they cut him. But you're right. They really don't have much at linebacker. And that was my one concern going into this. Also the secondary too. That's why I think they do need to either trade for Jalen Ramsey or sign Jair Alexander. A lot of teams are looking for a veteran cornerback though. So I'm sure it's a hot market. Josina Anderson had that vague report saying that sources tell me 6 teams are interested in Alexander.
Who are the teams, Josina? Who are the goddamn teams?
Yeah, who are they? I don't know. Back to you. And your YouTube channel. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what their answer is there yet, but I liked it. I liked how aggressive they were and just saw an opportunity and they took it. The guy's only 29 years old, so I'm willing to take a risk on that, especially at a position they're lacking.
Definitely. And it wouldn't be bad for the Raiders to sign Jair Alexander too, but I don't know if they're going to do both. And we'll see with Jalen Ramsey what happens there. But yeah, I don't know. I think that in the past, Pete Carroll has been about kind of growing young members of the secondary. That's how he built the Legion of Boom. So maybe it's just that he's going to build that through the draft, and he's comfortable with the guys he has right now. So we'll see what happens with that. And then as far as other training camp, or not training camp, but mini camp news, Kirk Cousins reported, and he's willing to be the backup now. It's funny though. What's up? How noble of him?
How noble.
Well, you know what? I hear you because I think you texted me like something along the lines of, oh, wow, it must be really hard for him to not get hit and collect $40 million this year, which you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But also, I heard Steve Young on with Rich Eisen the other day, and he's like, oh, Rich, I mean, you don't know, man. You don't know. Like when you've been a starting quarterback for years and someone tells you you're a backup, oh, that's devastating. It's like a death. It's like someone telling like you're dead. It's like, oh, I don't matter anymore. I'm old. I don't matter. It's like it's tough. And I know I backed up Montana for years, but I didn't want to. So if I'm Kirk, I'm like, I don't want to do this. But he doesn't have a lot of options. So yeah, I think Kirk. I get it. Like Kirk's what, 37? Yeah. He only has so many years left.
Yeah.
To just kind of like, there's not many options out there. Like with Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh, that's kind of it. Unless a major injury happens, he's not going to be a starting quarterback this year. He's going to back up Michael Penix. So that's tough for him. I'm sure, like, in the remaining years he has left as an NFL player, he wants to start. But this year he's going to have to take the L and back up. And you never know. Michael Penix could get hurt. He also could suck. But I actually like him a lot. So, yeah, I think that Kirk Cousins it's not a bad life, but it's not the life that he wants to have, where he just collects $40 million and does get hit. But he wants to come home to Coop and tell him he had a good game today.
More bonfires.
I know.
Bonfires with Coop. Just complaining about Michael Penix the whole time.
Yep.
Shame.
And I think we're going to see him on that quarterback show again this summer. I like the sinister laugh you have right now.
I don't know, man. Like, I hear Steve Young. I know we love these athletes. I'm sorry that your pride took a hit, but you're making $27 million to hold a clipboard and wear headphones every Sunday. I know you're out there working and doing your thing, but when I look at the money, I mean, I understand there's the pride thing, and athletes do this where they say, like, you don't understand. I'm like, yeah. You don't understand.
I'm trying to see if a fucking member of the Panthers gets an assist here. Come on,
Steve. I'm going to the movie theaters on Tuesday so I could save $8 on a movie ticket. Okay.
Oh, Steve, buddy, Steve. Come on, man. What are you doing? Come on, man. You gotta find a better theater. I love Steve.
Yeah, he's great. It's a good impression.
I just heard him yesterday. I was laughing my ass off when he was just like, "Oh man, for Kirk, like it's like you're dying, you know? It's like, oh, you're dying a slow death." It's like, yeah, we definitely know how Steve felt when it was his time to go. But I just love how dramatic he gets sometimes. But he is right. We don't live that life. We don't know how it is. So yeah, that's gotta be difficult. But hey, at least Aaron Rodgers is married. We found that information out. Hey,
tremendous.
Another reason why he did not show up to the Steelers sooner. I get it. He's getting married. He's dealing with people with illnesses. He wanted to go to Austin to hang out with that rapper dude and Joe Rogan. By all means. He did call out the Jets though, subtly, where he was like, I'm glad I'm with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a storied franchise. I played for one already with the Packers. Didn't say that with the Jets. Didn't reference the Jets as a storied franchise, which he's not wrong there.
Yeah. He's not.
Speaking of which, Davante Adams talking about there's no dark cloud covering the Rams right now. Everybody's happy. I think he's not really calling out the Raiders, but he kind of is. I mean, we saw him. God, how many times did he jump on the Kay Adams podcast to throw some shade at the organization? But I think he's throwing shade at the Raiders and Jets. So I don't know. I'm kind of over Davante Adams living in the past. Like, you have a good situation now. You're in LA. You're playing with Matthew Stafford. You don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers, possibly not playing or retiring. Matthew Stafford wants to be there.
Yeah.
So I'd say Davante, just, be happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Raider fans are, I guess, insulted because he just keeps on taking these thinly veiled shots at the silver and black. And I understand that. Fans are going to defend their team, and they feel like Davante kind of did them dirty. But you can't tell me that the team was in a good place when he was there. And I don't really blame him. I mean, do I want him to go about it differently? Sure. But I can tell you there is no black cloud over this team now. I mean, Just look at Pete, man. Look at Pete.
Legend today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got a great shot of the coach.
Yeah, swag. Dark cloud over the team. So have more energy than you ever had at training camp. Just kidding. I don't want to call you out. Nah, dude. Like, it's just he was right, but I also think that there's no dark cloud hovering over this team anymore because everyone seems to be in the same boat. I was just watching this, and Ernie too. I'm sorry, but you don't have to tune in if you don't like what we're talking about. Like, it's our podcast. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, sorry. No, I'm not watching the cricket game on TV. Like, I'm all for cricket being at the Coliseum, but I'm British.
It actually sounds kind of pretty sick. I may check that out this weekend.
Oh, I mean, if you go, it might be entertaining. But have you ever watched cricket on TV? My granddad forced me to when I was younger because I'm British, and I never want to do that again.
I heard it's very complicated.
It's very complicated. You don't know what's going on. A guy gets a hit every now and then. Very confusing. But was I don't even have it ready, but there's a whole thing with behind the shield on the Raiders, and that's just good vibes around them right now.
Yeah, good vibes. The vibes are immaculate. And you see today, like on the practice field, they had like that weird ball thing, like the orb that guy was running around in, like a hamster wheel.
No,
it was like a gigantic bubble, and somebody was in it, just running around. You know what I'm talking? Like, if I can find it, I'll pull it up for you. But yeah, no, just to piggyback off of the good vibes, Pete Carroll. Yeah, I mean Pete's the man. We'll see how long he's the man as far as coaching the team. I'm not saying like how many years he has left on the earth, but John Spytek. I listened to an interview with John Middlecoff on his podcast, 3 and Out podcast, and John Spytek, man, Spytek, he sounds confident and a guy that's really experienced and been around many organizations with the Philadelphia Eagles and Denver Broncos, Cleveland Browns, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been around great coaches, been around great quarterbacks. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be a really good talent evaluator. And just the way he talks about how meticulous he is and just grinding tape, and how in years past, like he's learned a lot from Jason Light or Andy Reid or Howie Roseman. Now, I think the fact that he's been around such big names is going to help him in the long run when he's finally taken over now. So I know I'm kind of being biased because I listened to my buddy's podcast and he's on there, but he sounds like the real deal when it comes to evaluating talent. I think he's going to be solid for the Raiders.
Totally. And he's brought a new kind of swag to him. And the thing I wanted to bring up too was the behind the shield thing.
Yeah.
With the draft. We kind of got a sneak preview into them.
Just real quick, Edmonton wins.
Oh, wow.
5-4. Series is tied up 2-2, baby. Yes. Let's go Oilers.
Love that. Who did it? Draisaitl? It was Draisaitl.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
Nice. All right. Let's get game 7s of both NBA and NHL. Let's do that.
I think we'll get there.
Okay.
So this was them reacting to the Browns when they took the pick before the Raiders.
The Cleveland Browns next at 5. They have some interesting options. We'll see what the Browns end up doing.
Who do you think Cleveland's choosing here? Is it Ashton Genty?
Well, Ashton Genty's my highest rated player. That to me is a position they have to address.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
Just a little smirk from Pete.
Just the close enough.
So that tells me that they never had interest in drafting Mason Graham. They always wanted Ashton Genty.
I don't think they did. Yep. Yeah, just
Vegas took about.
He is grinning hard.
Yeah, he was stoked.
The Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
Oh, Pete's ecstatic. Look at that little smirk, like
Vegas
that. That Stephen Colbert gif where it's like him like slowly smiling. That's Pete right there.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Do you have the sound real quick of Mike McDaniel talking about Jalen Ramsey?
Did you send that over to me?
I don't know if I did, but it amused the hell out of me. Where Mike McDaniel, I know you love him, and I love him too as a play caller, and he's just goofy. But man, does he look like he's over it? Like I don't know if they have a bad season if he's going to survive. And I know like a lot of anonymous players are talking shit. Like maybe he's not a good leader of men, and then this is what's leading to Jalen Ramsey being traded. A whole thing about him being late for practice and not taking the fines seriously. But when McDaniel was pressed again about him caring if Jalen Ramsey shows up for minicamp and him being close to being traded, he did not give a fuck.
All right, hang on. I got it.
Looking for it still?
I got it.
Okay, you got it? Okay. Yeah, like I think Mike McDaniel's dropped like 3 S-bombs and an S-bomb. Like he looks like he's just weathered right now. Here's Mike McDaniel when asked about Jalen Ramsey.
Surprised it's taken this long to find a resolution with the team.
I don't personally, and I would lump you into this with me. I don't give a shit about what I feel. I'm not I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately. And so the business is business. The opportunity that business does provide in the off season is a rep to the team about handling noise. What do I define noise as? Noise is things that don't have to do with what actually you're there to do and you should be focused on doing because you'll be held accountable to do. So business in the off seasons allows you to speak to your team about how the focus of noise is a constant battle that if you're successful, you have to win.
Jesus.
Just a bunch of coach speak after that. But I loved how he was like, I don't give a shit how I feel. Because the truth is, he probably is like, I want him the fuck out of here. I want him out of here. Because he's talking shit about me. And he's definitely turned the players against me. So I don't want him here anymore. That's what I think he's basically saying right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It shouldn't matter what I think. Where I'm just going to go into this word salad about whatever our existence is as an offseason, as a business entity instead of as a football team. Yeah, you're seeing Otis Bird here saying this is like half Harbaugh, half Shanahan.
A little bit.
Like you're seeing that for sure. Like Shanahan, after a while, started getting existential when it came to Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo training camp. Who's showing up? I don't even know if we're going to be alive on Sunday. Like at some point, these guys just hit their breaking point. Yep. And I think that McDaniels hit his a little early in his coaching tenure, but this does not bode well for his future with the Dolphins franchise. Like he just doesn't look, that does not sound like a head coach that's going to be with the team for a while.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this season, but he's definitely on the hot seat, I would say.
Yeah, he's one of them, and he'll be sought after. Mike McDaniel kind of feels like Kapler. He's more of like a coach to hang out with the guys as opposed to a head man in charge.
Yeah, I agree with that, Otis, where watching that Hard Knocks, I'm surprised that guys take him seriously sometimes. It's not like his stature or, his goofy mannerisms, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, I think there's sometimes like you saw Vic Fangio leave the Dolphins as DC because he couldn't buy Mike McDaniel anymore. So I think Jalen Ramsey felt the same way. We'll see what happens, but he's definitely made Tua a better player. I just think that it may not work out in Miami.
Well,
and then
seems like he's a really good offensive coach. He's very motivating for Tua in a way that Brian Flores wasn't, and that was a whole thing. But leading an entire team, a 53-man roster, that's just a different ball game. Maybe he is more of just an offensive coach.
He could possibly be. Real quick, do you have? I know I didn't send this either. I apologize. I'm putting you on the spot here. Mm-hmm. Can you find Stefon Diggs real quick? Just his response to the boat party and the pink substance.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Stefon
Diggs
is
not really working for me.
The computer's not working.
The search bar. I had to dig through Ari Mayroff's just to get that last one.
Okay.
Trying to find that. Yeah, I can't find it.
You can't find it? Okay. Maybe I'll send it to you. Now, Stefon Diggs, he showed up for mandatory minicamp for the Patriots and had to speak about just everything that went on with the boat party and the pink substance that was he was given to the beautiful friends of Cardi B. I can't find it either now. Hang on, let me see real quick. I have it here somewhere. Stefon Diggs. Yeah, it makes it so hard to find things on X now. Okay, I can't find it, but basically he told reporters, I don't talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to know these people. You just came here. You're brand new. But you were on a boat and you had something in the bag. So you don't have to say that. I think that's dumb. I think that he could just say that's between me and Mike Vrabel and we're handling everything inside. But to say I don't talk about my personal life and I don't talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally, it's like, well, yeah, they're the media. You're not going to say shit to them. So I don't know. I thought the whole thing was dumb, to be completely honest. I just think that he didn't have to say anything. And the NFL will figure it out. If there was something in that bag that they deemed was enough for him to be suspended, he'll be suspended. But yeah, I honestly comparing that to the Minnesota Vikings boat party from 20 years ago, where they were having like a whole fucking orgy in the middle of the season with Fred Smoot and Brian McKinney. I think that's 10 times worse than whatever was going down with Stefon Diggs and Cardi B.
Good luck not talking about your personal life when your significant other has 164 million Instagram followers.
Yeah, that too.
Have fun, man. like you're gonna get a lot of that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, Rockin' left. Damn, Steven, you made him upset.
Why? What did I do?
No, we love you, Rockin'. All right. Should we do Jackass of the Week and a little pop culture catch-up before we get out of here?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's do it. Do you have a Jackass of the Week, Steven?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to be the same one as you.
Yeah.
Because this guy's kind of been all over the news. Mine is for a different reason, but you can go first and I'll go second.
I think we have it for two different things, but I'll lump them all together.
Yeah. I think mine is different than yours.
Yeah, it is.
But it's the same guy.
Yes, it is. All right, so Stephen A. Smith is both of our Jackass of the Week. And he's just being ridiculous right now. Like he's been ridiculous this whole this season. But stemming back from him calling out LeBron James, like acting like he could kick his ass. So they've been talking nonstop about who the New York Knicks head coach should be. And Stephen A. keeps going back to Mark Jackson. He loves Mark Jackson. He thought Mark Jackson was totally disrespected and not given an opportunity when he was fired from the Golden State Warriors. He's brought this up multiple times this week. I think this is the latest one, but he has to build up Mark Jackson while tearing down Steve Kerr in the process.
With all of this said and with what has unfolded, why don't you place a call to Mark Jackson? Why don't you place a call to a guy that coached in Golden State that set the table for Steve Kerr to capitalize off of and look like the second coming of Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich and these guys? Why don't you call a Mark Jackson, okay, who starred Bishop Lachlan, who starred at St. John's, who's a rookie of the year for the New York Knicks, who proved he could coach on a big-time level in the NBA? How about calling him? Because I can assure you the city of New York will stand up and support and applaud that brother coming home and resurrecting his career as a coach for the New York Knicks. Hell yeah.
Okay, first off, I don't think Mark Jackson upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. Not whatsoever. Mark Jackson hasn't coached in 11 years. And he's never been given an opportunity to even, like, he's interviewed, but like he's not even come close to getting another job.
Yeah.
So we could go have revisionist history of Mark Jackson today. This is just my opinion. I don't think Mark Jackson was that good of a coach. I never thought he was that good of a coach. I thought that he turned the organization around and he was a good leader. But as far as a coach, X's and O's wise, he is similar to Mike Singletary, where he was just a former player and it can, have a good fiery locker room speech. But he also divided the locker room when it came to his religion and wanting to have prayer sermons in the locker room before games. And Andrew Bogut's like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Not to mention, also Mark Jackson was accused of some prostitution solicitation on the side while he was head coach of the team. And not to mention also every post-game press conference was him just pining for a new contract. So we can act like Mark Jackson got the Warriors to the playoffs, and he did. I'm not sorry. That's a weird way to phrase that. We can act like Mark Jackson was a good coach. He did turn around the franchise. He did improve their defense. But as far as being a great coach, he wasn't that good of a coach. And it's telling that he's never got an opportunity since then. And at the same time, Stephen A. does not need to tear down Steve Kerr in the process. It's not like Tony Dungy, who was a good coach, turned things around the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and John Gruden capitalized on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and turned them into a better offense to win the Super Bowl. Steve Kerr turned them into a championship team. He had the greatest rookie season a head coach has ever had, and then had a historic run for 5 seasons straight, won 4 championships. Don't diminish any of that just because you didn't like him playing Jason Tatum in the Olympics. I think this whole narrative is dumb as hell. And let's not act like Mark Jackson was this amazing coach and got screwed over. And Steve Kerr is now they're portraying him as Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson. Those are his disciples. He learned from those guys, so it's fair to make those comparisons. Stephen A is just a jackass for even like the Mark Jackson thing is one thing, but to tear down Steve Kerr in the process, I just find really stupid.
I agree. I agree because it just takes away from everything Steve Kerr did. It's just like capitalizing on what Mark Jackson did, capitalizing on 4 championships. That's more than just capitalizing. Sure, Mark Jackson gets credit for realizing that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were the future of basketball and the fact that 3-point shooting is what is going to win you games. But Steve Kerr is the guy that turned him into a champion, and you can't deny that. And there's a reason they got rid of Mark Jackson. It really did feel personal. So whenever you bring personal stuff into it, you should get awarded Jackass of the Week. You know what? I'll table mine because his was just – he had on – this is more personal for me, I guess, so I'm kind of contradicting. But Stephen A would get it too because he had Riley Gaines on his podcast, and Riley Gaines has been kind of has been spearheading this movement with how it's women should compete in women's sports and men should compete in men's sports. And really, I think – just taking this transgender people playing in sports to a whole nother level. Because Riley Gaines was a swimmer and lost to a transgender person. And ever since, she's just been on this rampage, just trying to stop, men from competing in women's sports. And I am willing to hear an argument on that. But with her and the people that are siding with her, it feels way less about caring about women's sports and more about trying to take away the rights of transgender people. And that's just how it comes off. It does not feel like anyone's trying to protect women's sports. It's that they're scared of people who are different. And there are minimal examples that they are using, and it's been debunked throughout. And Stephen A should know that, but instead he had her on his podcast and said, I agree with you. I agree. And then he basically said that they should create their own division and just have transgender people competing against transgender people. I'm like, what kind of an idea is that?
Yeah.
Like that's not going to happen. And you know that's not going to happen. And in the end, you're taking these people's rights away from competing and doing something and taking away certain freedoms that they would have. So I saw that and I thought he was a little bit better than that. And this Riley Gaines person, by the way, it's pretty clear she's just pining for a new job on Fox News. She's on there all the time. She works for Clay Travis's Clay Travis's network Outkick. Like it's clear there's an agenda with it, and the agenda is not to protect women's sports. And that's where I really take issue with it. And then another one, I guess, I mean, I would have him as a jackass, but also what's going on with him is pretty serious. But Antonio Brown, he could probably be like just an automatic jackass of the week. Are you seeing this stuff that he's saying about Gavin Newsom, man, or Gavin Newsom's wife?
He said he slept with Gavin Newsom's wife.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, years after he said that he slept with Tom Brady's wife.
Yep.
Also, but do you see what happened today? He's wanted for attempted murder.
Yes.
Antonio Brown.
Correct.
Yeah. So I saw the video a couple weeks ago where he was at a fight and he was jumped, and then he pulls a gun and shoots it in the air. And apparently he charged the individual he was going after, shot the gun, and the bullet grazed him in the neck. Now Antonio Brown, and look, you could say he's done some horrible things, and his downward spiral also, you could say simultaneously, is sad. I mean, this is like on an OJ level of like, and he didn't do what OJ did or what he was accused of, but the downfall of where he was to being a Hall of Fame receiver to what's going on now. Antonio Brown could face 20 years in jail right now. So, yeah, you could say he's jackass of the week. I also kind of feel sorry for him, but at the same time, he's needed help for quite some time now. And people have opened their arms to help him, and he's pushed them away.
Yeah. And but there's still people defending him, though. And, going onto his Twitter and backing him up. I mean, it was kind of the same thing with OJ, right? There were still people who were defending OJ even to this day, like thinking that he's innocent, even though all the evidence was out there, and now there's a Naked Gun movie that's, even making fun of that. Maybe he doesn't get a Jackass of the Week because of all that's happened today specifically.
Yeah.
Also, just random. This isn't nothing Jackass of the Week, but that stuff with Jimmy Ward was kind of nuts. Just to read that this morning.
Yeah, Jimmy Ward has been arrested or accused of fighting a family member. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah. Essentially, he was taken for a domestic violence charge, arrested in Texas, and he was arrested very early this morning at like 5:30 Texas time. So that sucked.
Yeah. Well, all those people are, I guess, Jackass of the Week worthy. Although we don't know what's going on with Jimmy Ward. I want to hold off on that one just for the time being.
Yeah. Stephen A. I mean, it's always Stephen A.
Back to Stephen A. Like, do you have the clip of him calling out Tyrese Halliburton?
I'd hang on.
Because that, like, he is like, I know it's an act, and I know you've been telling me that for years. But this is part of the problem where I understand why guys don't want to be the face of the NBA, and also at the same time, you should want that title. But there are guys in the NBA media that want to be bigger than the players and want to call them out, and like Ernie asking who does their better Stephen A. impression. Is Derek's better? I'll do mine right now. Where it's, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. You're gonna call me out. I'm gonna be here for a long time. A long time. Anyway, this is Tyrese Halliburton last night said that he doesn't pay attention to what the talking heads say, and none of them know anything about basketball, which is a fair thing to say, and that's how you stay motivated as a player, and just have tunnel vision. But no, Stephen A. takes it as an insult when he didn't even say him by name.
And oh, by the way, just in case he was talking about me, my brother, I'm not going away.
No, you're not.
I'm going to be here for a while. You said, read the news? I'm going to be here for a while. So next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, I'm going to be here. And players far more accomplished and far more superior have made their efforts trying to call me out. How has that worked out? And
stop. How's that worked out? LeBron has dunked on you multiple times. I'm not even a LeBron guy, but I side with him in this whole situation where you look ridiculous. He didn't call you out by name, bro. He didn't this is so egotistical. God, this makes me want to vomit. This is the epitome of debate guys thinking they're bigger than athletes or on the same level as athletes. Where it's I know a lot of more accomplished players in this league that have tried to come after me, and how's that worked out for them? Just fine. Kevin Durant still doing his thing. LeBron James doing his thing. The world doesn't need Stephen A. Bottom line. And I'm just tired of his ego, and God, what a jackass.
Yeah.
Didn't even call him out by name.
Yeah. Also, it's ESPN. ESPN just lets him do this stuff.
I know.
And they're the ones that are, they're the ones that are just, I can't even think of the word right now, but they're
complicit.
They're just letting this happen.
Yeah.
They're encouraging it.
All right. Pop culture catch up.
Sure. Yeah.
Anything I wanted to bring up?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I was surprised by this today. For a long time, there's always been kind of like a joke or rumors of a Spaceball sequel. And, if you saw the trailer today, it's the text of Star Wars. And this movie came out 38 years ago, Spaceballs, parody of Star Wars. And, since that time, they've made so many different Star Wars movies. And it's pretty funny, the script that they show of all the different, spin-offs and everything that's transpired since Spaceballs has been a movie. And now Spaceballs has decided to, or Mel Brooks, the great Mel Brooks, in my opinion, the king of comedy, has decided to make a sequel to the film. And I grew up loving that movie. I think, like I said, I think Mel Brooks is the king of comedy. I think all of his films are hilarious. Mm-hmm. I still think Blazing Saddles is hilarious. Young Frankenstein. I know he made a sequel to The History of the World Part 2. that was kind of mixed. I actually didn't end up seeing it, but I need to watch it eventually. But this movie's coming to theaters, and I guess Rick Moranis is coming back to play Dark Helmet. Bill Pullman is coming back to play Lone Star. Mel Brooks is going to play Yogurt. Of course, rest in peace to John Candy. He's not coming back as Barf. But if, like I said on Twitter today, if Mel Brooks is in, I'm in. I just don't know about doing a Spaceballs sequel 40 years after the fact. But I'm in. I'll check it out.
Of course. Come on, man. It's Mel Brooks. It's Spaceballs.
Yeah.
40 years.
Spaceballs, the sweatshirt.
We asked, what do the fans want? But instead, we're making this movie.
2027, Mel Brooks and Spaceball 2, which I hope they call in the original movie. They were saying they always sort of joking that say they're going to make a sequel to the movie. Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
Yeah.
No, I'm down. And Mel Brooks, man, what is he got to be? 90?
He's
90 something? God. He's still got his fastball though. The man is still quick with comedy. When he ultimately passes away, it will be a sad day because I think of him, I think of Larry David, I think of Carl Reiner, I think of just like, old classic Jewish men that go to Katz's Deli and talk about comedy. That's what I think of when I think of like the kings of comedy. So, am I thrilled they're making a Naked Gun, reboot? No. Am I thrilled they're making a Spaceballs sequel? Not really. But if the right people are attached to it, then I'm down. And I love Mel Brooks, so I'll check it out. I'm down.
God, I love Spaceballs so much, though.
I know.
Like as far as my list, like if I had to go my top Mel Brooks movies of all time, and it's just me, like again, this is just my personal list, just because of what I grew up watching. But it's a really close tie between either Spaceballs or Men in Tights. Like those two are just, I love Men in Tights. Maybe that may be an unpopular type of opinion, but Men in Tights is just all time. And Spaceballs is just so good. I don't really know which one's my favorite. Blazing Saddles is awesome. Trust me. I love Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles is amazing.
But these two, like, they hold a special place in my heart because I've watched them ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, no, I grew up on Mel Brooks movies. Like that's our generation, like that's our parents' generation. Like they grew up with that stuff and they passed it down to us. And I know a lot of people, Blazing Saddles, highly controversial at the time, highly controversial today. I think you have to take it for what it is. I think it's a hilarious movie that basically is trying to tell everybody we need to treat everybody equal. And that's the bottom line of comedy, is to push the boundaries, to make people uncomfortable, to be offensive, but also call out the people that are ignorant. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, Mel Brooks also just wanted to parody movies. He was parodying Westerns. He was parodying Robin Hood movies.
Young Frankenstein.
Exactly. Young Frankenstein's hilarious.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. He was parodying Hitchcock movies with like High Anxiety. I love Mel Brooks. I revere the man, honestly. Like when I was a kid, like not many 10-year-old kids are like telling their parents, when I grew up, I want to be Mel Brooks. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make comedy movies. I wanted to spoof like everybody, like the Airplane movies or the Wayans brothers doing Scary Movie. They're all influenced by Mel Brooks. And so he's the man, in my opinion. No one can say a bad thing about him. I just don't know about making a sequel to Spaceballs. But like I said, if he's attached to it, I trust him. I'm down.
Can I make a 100% honest admission?
Sure.
After you said Bill Pullman was going to do it, I was almost going to correct you and said I think Bill Pullman's dead.
I know, but he's often confused for Bill Paxton.
And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's not." Yeah, Bill Pullman's very much alive.
I know. That happens all the time where people confuse him for Bill Paxton.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. He's still alive. All right. Anything else, Steven, or are you good for the night?
In Pop Culture Cat, I watched the entirety of that Jason Segel and Seth Rogen Actors on Actors interview.
Where Jason Segel's great story. I guess he told this before, though, where he wasn't familiar with his work before they worked on Shrinking, Harrison Ford, that is. And they showed him a clip of, he watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he's like, I'll work with the kid, and also tell him great dick.
Yeah. It's really good. I mean, it was really quick. It just goes by. But yeah, nothing on the pop culture catch up front. Although there's a stand-up comedian that is kind of catching my eye. He's this British guy or Australian guy named Sam Campbell. Just a very odd individual.
Okay.
But he's
funny
hilarious.
though.
What's that?
Funny though?
Yeah, he's hilarious. Like I don't know what it is about him. He like has this. He's kind of a. He's not cool. He's not like the, the Joe Roganification of comedians now, where it's like you got to be the tough guy. You kind of got to be the bully. You kind of got to be the one who's afraid to push the boundary and say things that are going to that are too anti-woke, whatever stupid shit that they're trying to push. This guy's just different. He's a very odd individual, and I dig it.
Okay. Sam Campbell, you said?
Yeah, I'll send you a clip.
Okay. And also, I hear you on the Rogan guys, but also you do love Shane Gillis.
I do love Shane Gillis, and I'm seeing him for my birthday on June 20th. He's an exception.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't lump him in that crowd because I've seen enough clips of him where he's like, even though he kind of embodies that stuff, he's also kind of a parody of that stuff at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Which is weird because I don't put him in like the Kill Tony crowd, even though he is part of that. Like to me, like him, Mark Normand, and Ari Shaffir. I know they go on Rogan's podcast a lot, but I think those guys call out Rogan enough. Like I laugh every time. Like I've seen clips where Mark Normand's like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like they don't mind making fun of Rogan, where they're like, we know you're kind of full of shit, but we also like the popularity of your podcast, so we'll go on it.
Yeah,
that's how I view it.
Yeah, for sure. But it's more. It's not so much them. It's the young up and coming comedians like in the circle. But then again, like that's just circling a few. Like stand-up comedy is alive and well. There's a bunch of talent out there, I'm sure, locally that none of us have ever heard of, that really should get their shine, but they don't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Comedy's, I mean, it's not dead or anything like that. It's just we're so hyper focused on stuff because we're just in a weird time.
No, but I think, I'm with you. And I also like the push for it. I think that for a little bit of time, people were afraid to not offend. And that shouldn't be the goal ever. But also, like, just at the end of the day, like, as long as you don't have a malicious bone in your body, you're just making jokes. That's how I see it. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm glad we're getting more comedy movies. Like, I'm glad Spaceballs 2, I'm skeptical of it, but at the same time, like, I'm glad it's coming to theaters. I'm glad the Naked Gun movie's coming to theaters. I'm glad more comedies are going to theaters. We need to, there's a lot of things we need to change in this world. This is me on my soapbox. There's a lot of things we need to change in this world for the better. But honestly, let's just laugh. Comedy's just comedy at the end of the day. That's my opinion, man.
I think we should end on that.
We should end on that. All right, everybody. So we're not gonna do a show on Sunday. It's Father's Day, and I want everybody to enjoy their Father's Day. And Steven, I wish you and your family a great Father's Day, and however you guys want to spend it together. So we'll be back next week on Wednesday, and we'll see where everything's at with the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Final, and NBA free agency is around the corner. And we'll see what happens with Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander. But until that time, thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks to Otis Bird is the word. Thanks to Ernie One. Thanks to Rocco Nuera, who was scared away by Steven. Thanks to Just Your Positive Opinions, man. I saw AJ Cruz in here for a little bit of time. Skills report. And I know AJ Cruz is Just Your Positive Opinions, man. Don't lie.
Maybe. Apparently, I said something that drove him away too.
For AJ Cruz or keep Just Your Positive Opinions, man?
No, AJ Cruz. I don't know what I said.
You're just offending everybody tonight, man.
Jeez.
All right. On that note, have a happy Father's Day, everybody out there. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Steven, say what you always say.
Otani really does sound like Seth Rogen with his laugh.
I'm in trouble.
I like that. That's just our video, man. That's funny.